This is just sad. How do we go from dunking over a 7'5" giant to a 5'0" twist streamer who is sitting down? I think pretty much everyone has now agreed that the dunk contest is officially dead. I mean, it's been on a very heavy decline ever since 2016. That year really was the last good one. And ever since then, the judges have been god-awful, players using the same dunks 20 years later, creativity is non-existent, and no big names even want to be a part of it anymore. The hate is honestly justified. But this isn't anything new to the NBA. In fact, this already happened before. 27 years ago to be exact. The dunk contest got cancelled. Seriously, it didn't exist anymore. People were so done with it that the NBA just straight up decided to end it. But eventually there was a man who brought it back. A man who single-handedly made dunking great again. Let's take it back from the very beginning. In the first 10 years of its existence, the dunk contest was everything. Big superstar names such as Michael Jordan, Dominique Wilkins, and Dr. J were flying and dunking in ways the world had never seen before. And it quickly became the most hyped up event for All-Star Weekend. Everybody wanted to see the highest jumpers in the world fly through the air and dunk the ball. Things were great. Superstars actually wanted to join and put on a show for everyone. But then after a while it started getting a bit shaky. You see, the slight problem with the dunk contest was that as the years went on, there weren't as many dunks that you could use that haven't already been done before. And so what happened in the mid-90s was that people basically ran out of dunks. Isaiah Ryder did a between the legs dunk in 1994, and Charles Barkley genuinely thought it was the greatest dunk ever.
Charles Barkley, what do you think? Oh my God, that might be the best dunk I ever seen. That was awesome.
Another big reason why it was starting to get boring was that superstars weren't joining anymore. Let's be honest here, no one cares about Harold Miner winning the dunk contest. Everybody wants to see the big names do it. That's just how entertainment works. The final straw was back in 1997. The only names you're going to know on this list of dunkers is an 18-year-old Kobe, a rookie Ray Allen, and Darvin Ham. Not because he was a good player, but because he's the current coach for the Lakers. Kobe and Ray are big names now, but back then they were just rookies, so there was literally no All-Stars at all. But it's a dunk contest. Who knows, maybe someone's going to pull something crazy at the locker and blow everyone's mind.
Missed his third dunk in Ardmore, Pennsylvania. Uh-oh, that'll hurt him.
That's going to hurt him bad. I haven't seen him do much yet.
Uh-oh, could be Wisconsin. Missed that one. Oh, couldn't do it.
Yeah, there was a slight problem. No one was actually making any of the dunks. And it's not like they were attempting some really difficult, never-before-seen stuff. They were just straight up missing windmills. Kobe would eventually win with the through the legs dunk, which Isaiah Ryder already did 3 years ago. It was a disaster. Nobody was interested. It seemed like the dunk contest was happening every year, but the dunks weren't getting better every year. The NBA saw that it was on its last legs and decided to put an end to it fairly quickly. Everyone at this point already agreed that we reached the limit of dunking. There wasn't much anyone else could do. Well, that's what they thought. In the year 2000, the NBA brought it back. People were over it, but it's been 3 years now. Everyone is hoping for something new, something brilliant, something never seen before. And that's exactly what Vince Carter brought to the world.
Here is Vince Carter with his first shot. Let's go home! Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen!
This was what everyone's been wanting for so long. On this night, Vince Carter took over the world. Finally, the basketball world got a taste of something new. The limits everyone thought had been reached were shattered. And so it was the beginning of a new era. The dunk contest was officially back. Players like Nate Robinson, Dwight Howard, and Blake Griffin were loved by everyone. It was actually exciting again. But the absolute peak was back in 2016. This was a great year for the NBA in general, but an even better year for dunking. There were two guys who really put on a show that night. Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon were both neck and neck. 50 after 50 after 50. These guys just kept on getting more amazing as the night continued. It was the absolute peak of entertainment in the NBA. It's the most viewed dunk contest by a landslide. But maybe it was too high of a peak. So much so that anything afterwards would pale in comparison. Now LaVine and Gordon set the standards high. Very high. The odds of any dunk contest afterwards to surpass theirs was basically impossible. And so the next few years were always going to be disappointments. In 2018, Donovan Mitchell won by wearing Vince Carter's jersey and doing the exact same dunk 18 years later. In 2019, John Collins broke his own prop while doing a really basic dunk, but in 2020, it actually seemed hopeful in the beginning. There were a lot of good dunks that year, and it was one of the better ones from the past few years. By far the best moment of the night was Aaron Gordon jumping over Taco Fall, a feat that's never been done before. His score for jumping over a 7'5" guy, a 47. And Derrick Jones Jr., who did a through-the-legs dunk for the 5th time that night, got a 50 and beat him. Everybody was booing. NBA players in disbelief of the robbery that they just witnessed. Even Derrick Jones Jr., who literally won, was laughing and shaking his head. So now there was another problem. The judges were awful. Inconsistencies everywhere, and largely speculated to have bias too. There's always been controversy with judging, but this year in particular was really bad. And it didn't help when Scottie Pippen literally admitted to the rigging.
Here's the truth. Let the world hear the truth.
Ooh, here we go.
There was a little bit of a pack, but somehow we punched the scores in and they came up wrong.
So,
Whoa!
there were...
And just like that, they lost their best contestant ever. Gordon has 8 50-point dunks, which is the highest in history, but he's never won even once. He had quite possibly the greatest dunk I've ever seen, and still didn't win. Fans were outraged, and rightfully so. The next year, Anthony Simons won by almost kissing the rim.
Come on now, dawg.
In 2022, the dunk contest did something incredible, something never done before. They broke a record for the most misses with 24 missed attempts. Every year just seemed to keep on getting worse and worse. So Adam Silver decided to actually do something about it. Clearly it needed a big change. So they brought out the secret weapon. Finally, after years of garbage, McClung reminds the world of what the dunk contest could actually be. And the fans loved him. It was great, and it seemed like he revived the dunk contest in the same way that Vince Carter did. But there was a slight issue. McClung isn't in the NBA, he's a G League player. And that might not seem like that big of a deal, but it proves that no one in the NBA is good enough for the dunk contest anymore. Mac had an amazing performance, there's no denying that, but all the other actual NBA players in the contest were pretty mid. I mean, look at this Jericho Sims dunk. This genuinely gave me secondhand embarrassment, and 2 judges actually gave him a 49 for this. The problem was that the only good part of the NBA dunk contest was a guy who wasn't even in the NBA. The next year they brought him back, and brought in Jacob Toppin. Never heard of him? That's cause he's in the G League too. And basically the same thing happened. All the actual NBA players' dunks were trash, and McClung was the star of the show. So a 2-time NBA dunk contest champion isn't even in the NBA. Most people have accepted that the best jumpers in the world aren't in the NBA anymore. I mean, the best basketball player in the world barely even gets off the ground. And so over the years we've seen these two things separate, forming pro dunkers and actual hoopers. These are people that dedicate their life to dunking. NBA players obviously won't be able to keep up with them, in the same way that they wouldn't be able to actually play in the league. Pro dunkers have already evolved dunking to a whole nother level. We've already seen the best of the best, and it's not in the NBA anymore. Now the big question is, how long can they keep this up for? There's basically 2 things the NBA can do. 1, put pro dunkers in the contest, which would actually make it a lot more entertaining. Or 2, take a trip back to 1997 and throw it in the trash. And it seems like most fans are ready for the second one. There's tons of clips on social media of people doing the most insane dunks you'll ever see. NBA players simply can't live up to that standard anymore. The truth is, we honestly have reached the limit. And unless we get another Vince Carter, a man that revolutionizes the art of dunking, it's gonna eventually fade into non-existence.